Alright, let me get straight to the point. After playing Assassin's Creed Shadows this past week, I think it might just be one of the bests in the franchise in almost a decade. Because Ubisoft has finally given us the Japanese assassin fantasy we've been begging for. Look, I don't hate the modern AC games with their RPG heavy approach, but I do feel like the series has become way more about the action than about the unique stealth gameplay I fell in love with back in the heyday of Altair and Ezio. In fact, I was very excited when Mirage was announced. It finally went back to its stealthy roots and I was all for it. Except when I actually played it, while it was fun, it wasn't ambitious at all, and it barely innovated on its 15-year-old formula. It felt like they didn't even try. I need the Assassin's Creed franchise to innovate on its core gameplay. Going into Shadows this past week, that's the one main thing I was hoping for, and I'm pleased to say that they did indeed take it to the next level. But perhaps they took it too far. Assassin's Creed is back in a big way through the sensational stealth shinobi gameplay set within a stunning recreation of 16th century Japan. Running along the rooftops hasn't felt this good in a long time, thanks to Naoe's amazing parkour abilities, her shadow manipulating skills, and hidden blade assassination techniques. But let's address the samurai elephants in the room. Yasuke is no nimble ninja, but instead a one-man army that obliterates anything standing in his way. It almost feels like those old AC games when you used to go through enemies like butter, giving you a massive power complex as you cut down your enemies with your thunderous attacks. I appreciate that playing as one character more often didn't penalize the other, as both characters share experience points simultaneously, and because I prefer the stealth gameplay, I was getting way more experience points through Naoe. And the more points I got, the easier the game got, and yeah, this is an easy game unless you change the difficulty, but personally I actually had fun dominating and proficiently assassinating my enemies. It was all just extremely satisfying for me. It wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without its countless repetitive activities scattered across the map. But I did appreciate the more organic way of discovering new targets to assassinate within the various gorgeous regions of Japan. The visuals in this game had me in awe as I found myself slow walking, admiring the surroundings more times than I care to admit. The virtual world is overflowing with love for Japanese culture and its architecture, and the change of seasons not only massively changes the look of everything, but it impacts how you might tackle an infiltration. But this ambitious feature isn't as meaningful as I had hoped. And that might be a trend later on, we'll get back to that. Now, bloat has been an issue for previous AC games, and while Shadows tries to eliminate that, it does unfortunately still feel like quantity over quality when it comes to most of the mission designs. Especially in the main campaign, because of the dual protagonists and how the gameplay is structured, it has resulted in level designs feeling underwhelming with a heavy reliance on story that has good ideas but doesn't always get executed well in its massive ambitions. Ambitions, there's that word again. I appreciate the desire for a more character-driven narrative, from building your faction of warriors to the complex villains on your hit list, but like everything else in this game, there is far too much happening that doesn't always feel meaningfully connected. Fundamentally, this dual protagonist feature is, and here's that word again, ambitious, and it feeds into the assassin fantasy in fun ways, but unfortunately this massive ambition also hurts how the mission design works, and how the story needs to play out in order to meet whichever choice you make when you pick between the shinobi and the samurai. I think more linear moments that force you to be one character over the other, like how GTA 5 and Spider-Man 2 handle their multi-protagonists, this would have benefited Shadows greatly. Overall, the game nails what I love about the franchise, especially when it comes to the extraordinary visuals. Stealth is finally good again, but when I feel like running and guns blazing, the samurai lets me do exactly that too. However, because of this ambitious dual protagonist gameplay, it holds the game back from being amazing. And so, what do you think of Assassin's Creed Shadows? Let me know in the comments. And maybe hit that follow button. I'm that freaking geek. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.